No way.
I've never had an energy drink.
Not a Monster, not a...
No.
Wow.
I smelled a Red Bull one time in college. I like tried to taste one and I smelled like gasoline and I was like, oof.
I was the girl in high school who always had like a Red Bull or a Monster on her person.
And Cookie Monster sweatpants.
No,
and
I
a
knew you
teen
were going to say
pregnancy.
that.
I was like, why is anyone like go to bed at a normal time? Like people went to like Pennsylvania suburb high schools and acted like they were working the fucking coal mines. Like, shut up, go to bed. Like, no one, it's not that hard.
You have homework and I know it.
Like, but like both your parents are still together. Like, they're ugly, but they're still together. Like, just go home. Like,
your dad hates his wife, but
like, I don't get when people who are like mid-level, middle class make life pretend like cosplay life being hard.
Oh, they love it.
That's what I think Monster's whole demo was when it started. Now I see more like construction workers and they like do all like the monster car stuff. Whatever.
Yeah.
But like Red Bull and stuff, now they're all like geared towards athletes. But when it started, all I pictured was like,
yeah,
working at a 7-Eleven and then going to high school.
Agreed. And smoking, I don't even know what, backwoods.
No. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm trying to associate. Definitely, I was definitely not the Cookie Monster pants girl. I was more I was the like, always had like my, like was into photography, had like my camera around my neck. Like,
I would love to hear someone else's impression of me in high school.
Should we bring them
out?
Should we, if you went to high school with Jamie or I, email dyingupherepod@gmail.com and tell us what your... Make a burner account so we won't know it's you.
Yeah, I want a first impression and then a last impression. I need both. You know what's crazy is like, I'll perceive myself one way, obviously. And then I read somewhat recently, I have my yearbooks and I like was going through, and some people wrote the nicest things. Aww. And not that I think I'm a monster, but like I read some of them and I was like, I can't even read this. It was so nice.
I love that you're
like I was just
I can't even bear to hear somebody talk about nicely about
me. It was just overwhelming, where it's like just how I like to live. Like I know I'm short with my like small talk, but I like to engage meaningfully with people. And I guess I just don't realize how few people do that. Like it's just so normal for me or you or whatever.
Yeah, like how often people say kind and like sincere. And
well, recently I was just out with a friend. We were like getting drinks and dinner, and I was just like chatting up whoever was around us, and she was like, "Are you always like this?" And she meant it in a nice way, and I was like, "I guess, yeah." And she was like, "That rocks," and I was like, "Okay." Like I was like, "How do you not?" Like we're all sitting in this like 2x4 restaurant. Like what are we talking about?
Yeah, it is. Agreed. It is weird not to, and I think maybe it comes from, we both have worked in hospitality before, where like you just you have to, even if it's not your table or something, if people are around, you talk to all of the people in your life. And we do, comedy, so I think we're used to like,
I try to not like let a night go with that if I'm like thinking about something. So I brought this up to you before we started recording, but I got a text last night from someone who I saw like a month ago. We don't live in the same city or anything. And he basically was like telling me that he was into me. And I had no idea. Like I would have said not, like from our impression. And then I was like, maybe I never pick up on people hitting on me. I think we talked about this.
Where you definitely don't.
Where it's like, if someone's not attractive to me, I don't think it's hitting on me.
So you don't want it.
Because the people are always like, oh, and I always say I never get hit on. They're like, you get hit on all the time. I was like, no, I don't. It's all perception of it. So he was saying, he was like, yeah, I was like super into you. I guess I was trying to play it cool. And I was like, yeah, so cool that I had no concept.
So he's good.
I think he said he was, well, and I told him it was tricky because we are in the same line of work. I don't know why I said that. He's also a comedian because he's either that or he has an OnlyFans.
He said it like we're engineers.
He's also an accountant. We're in the same line of work, so I think he knows like I don't date or go out with comedians at all. It's just because most of them are so unwell, but mostly because I've never gone out with coworkers. And so I think he was aware of that and was like, didn't want to seem like he was hitting on me. Because there was one night I asked him to walk me in my car and he didn't. And I was like, all right, this guy wants not only nothing to do with me romantically, but as a friend, he doesn't care if I go get murdered right now. But he literally said, he was like, yeah, I regretted not walking you, like blah blah blah. He's like, I didn't want to seem like I was hitting on you too hard, but I was like, I get that, because like we could work together again or something.
It's also, I think, hard with other comics because we're always
joking
in bit mode,
yeah,
and the idea of like you have to be able to,
because he's like,
when are we,
Jamie, I'm in love with you, and I'm like, shut up,
yeah,
and then he's like so serious, and I don't know for a year,
right? Oh yeah, like when you think the bit has not been dropped and it has been dropped, or vice versa, it is I mean,
this is time coding this recording, but he texted me on April Fool's.
That's a bit in itself, yeah.
And the message was, he said, do you miss me yet? And I was about to roast him for saying that, but then I looked and I had said, do you miss me yet? But I had said that like the day after I flew out or something, the day I was flying out. Yeah, so he said that, and he was almost saying it like I should have known. So I'm either more autistic than I thought.
And we already thought you were pretty.
Maybe this is something we need to bring back. Just
autistic.
Like someone straight up coming up to you and being like, hey, I think you're pretty. I want to talk to you. Then, maybe I just need that.
And then being like,
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. Because then I was like bummed, but then I was like, I don't know. Had he said something while I was there, would anything have happened? Probably not.
Yeah, but also, do you think he would have? Because again, other comics, like, I feel like we all can be more sincere over text.
But what am I supposed to do with hearing it now a month later when we don't live in the same city?
Very true. Yeah.
Because he said something like, oh, I regret not going out with you. Something that I should visit again. And I was like, oh, I should go get a flight, hotel, rental car, go somewhere, try to get work for a week to maybe get drinks with you. Oh, golly gee.
How about he comes here?
No.
I mean, not to stay. He won't stay with you.
No. What a crazy idea.
Yeah, you're right.
No, yeah. I'm blushing at the thought.
Do you agree, though, that you feel like part of the reason that
away games for beginning of seeing someone?
Sure. Yeah, that's a good move, actually. That way you're not like, I'm not here for you, I'm here for this. But yeah. Do you feel, though, like, I mean, at least like I do, which is like the reason for not dating comics is because I don't know that I would have that I would hate dating a comic if I were not a comic. If I were just like a normal person. I think it's just like you shouldn't have, in a relationship, you shouldn't have two people who are.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Wacky.
Whatever works for some people.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like I'm very competitive. I don't like, we'd have to have very specific, very set, very different goals.
Yes.
And also just like the ideas of my jokes being personal, and then what? And then I start talking about him on stage.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, there's like famously, Christina P. and Tom Segura are married and they like host a pod together and stuff. But I think that they are different enough in style and as comics.
I've seen it work for plenty of people, but I keep so much of my like actual life stuff private that I can't imagine. And then like going out, like how do you have dates? Like all the stuff, your schedules are, it seems like it works because you could just bang during the day.
Yeah, you have to, I feel like that's the thing with our schedule always is like, you just have to do those things. Like if someone wants to get drinks with me, I'm like, can we do it at like 3 p.m.?
I think the idea of a male comedian is also not it for me.
Yeah.
Like someone that's not that confident on their own. Like there's something different about like a woman performing to me and like having genuine, fresh, new ideas, and guys just needing something else from being on stage.
Would you date me?
Right now, as is?
What do you need me to change? Jesus Christ.
Like, get rid of the cystic fibrosis. Hello.
Okay, if I were not
like right now, if you genuinely were like, let's go on a date. No, couldn't. I'm in love with your mom. No, I couldn't.
Wow. Okay.
You sleep too late.
I do sleep.
That's it. That is truly, I'm like,
we'd never see each other.
No.
By the time I wake up
I'm done my day. I'm at nap time when you wake up.
Yeah.
You know that.
And then I'm only up for an hour before I'm back to nap time too.
So maybe it's the perfect setup.
Yeah.
Did I just find love on a podcast? Truly, I need some balance. So I think dating, that's another thing about dating comedians. Like, because I mentioned like visiting something and he was like, oh, like I'm headlining this weekend. And I was like, in my head, I was like, I'm not going to sit there while he's headlining. I want to go headline. So like, then I would be, and then I was like, oh God, I could never.
Agree. Yeah. No, I do agree to that. Like this weekend, because of my concussion, I was supposed to be in Baltimore the whole weekend doing gigs and then canceled like my whole week of shows. Because I was like, I cannot be responsible for what I say on stage with a microphone with a concussion. And so
also the lights, you'd probably be horrible.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And so I just went and watched a show.
In Baltimore or here?
Here. And I was at Soul Joel's. And
oh yes,
Joel came up to me and was like, all right, we're going to throw you on next, obviously, whatever. And I was like, oh, I'm not here to perform. I appreciate it.
Obviously,
I was like,
because you're dying.
Yeah, right. It's like it would be a hate
Joel
crime
loves charity.
to not. He does. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I said that joking. He said obvious because you've performed there before.
Yes, thank you. And he was like, yeah, we'll throw you up last, whatever. And I was like, oh, I'm not here to perform. Thank you for the, I'm just here because I have a concussion though, so I can't. But sitting there watching a full comedy show had me like, I don't even want to be performing right now. This is completely voluntary that I am sitting here and not performing. And still I was sitting there. I like wrote down notes about, not that I would ever give them, but like thoughts on the comedy I was watching. And it was like, I cannot just be an audience member anymore. No. It's a hard skill. And like sometimes I
could only be an audience member for someone who's so far above.
Agreed.
Career wise. I can watch, but same thing. I'll give notes and I have to take breaks.
Exactly. Yeah. And it was
so I can't imagine having to sit and watch someone I was dating headline.
Yeah.
It depends. Like if we are far into the relationship, like most of the relationships successful of two comedians have been in it for a long time. Known each other for a long time. I couldn't like start dating where I'm at in my career. He'd have to be so damn hot or so damn funny.
And I think such a different comic than you. Like that's also part of it is like needs to be
we'd have to be on different planets for sure.
Yeah.
But I said I was kind of in his advantage to be in a different city. I only fall in love with people that live at least 4 states away.
That's a good move.
Preferably an ocean. Preferably.
What's the furthest fucking country you've dated in?
I mean, reverse. I lived in Australia and was talking to someone here. You
don't even have the same. I mean, what's the time difference?
It's like 12 hours.
So when you were going to bed, he was waking up and vice versa?
Yeah, but he had to get up early for work and I was working in a restaurant. So I was like up late. So his good morning texts were like good night for me.
So that's all you texted back and forth, good morning and good night?
No, I mean.
Until it didn't? Okay. That's wild. Australia's so far.
So far.
It takes like almost 24 hours to get there with time differences and stuff. Damn. Yeah. Okay.
If he wanted to, he would. If he wanted to ignore his wife and text you, he would.
Ladies, never forget.
You can move to Australia.
Set your standards. We haven't talked about death today, though. We have to do that.
What? I feel like every 5 seconds we were talking about you dying. I said I wouldn't date you because you're dying.
Me dying, yeah.
Oh, anybody else dying?
You said you wouldn't date me.
It seems like annoying. It seems like it get in the way. I don't really like hospitals that much. I'm sure that's been an issue for you. No, not that anyone would say it to
you. In what way?
Like the hesitancy to like fall in love with you.
Oh, yes.
Like I can't imagine if I met a guy and I keep saying I can't imagine.
Yeah.
I could imagine because I'm imagining it right now. But if I met a guy, like fell in love with him and he was like, I have expected to only live. No, I think I'd be into it actually. Never mind.
Yeah. I think you are forgetting.
Date a 50-year-old man. Yuck.
Yeah. Yucky. I think you're forgetting that how much straight men love a short-term commitment.
True. They love that.
Yeah. I used to date someone who would refer to people as his first wife, like as a bit, because like I'm obviously
Wait, you dated someone that did a bad wife bit before you were even married?
Well, yeah, not that
Who
I was
was
bad,
this?
but that I was gonna.
Was this someone you dated seriously?
Yes. And that the bit being like, I'm gonna die and he's gonna get remarried.
Yeah, no, I get the bit.
Yeah.
It wasn't funny when he said it or when you had just explained it.
I can't.
How did people react when he did that?
If I was on oxygen, they were a little more shocked by it. Like they, you know, whatever, got the joke. Usually it was just like a joke for me to hear. It wasn't so much like
Was
for the
he
other
good
people.
looking?
Yes. Do you think I would date someone who wasn't good looking, Jamie? Jamie.
We have different tastes.
Jamie.
We have different tastes. I hope you think everyone you date is good looking.
Yeah, I do.
What did you want to talk about death? Did something happen?
No, I guess
mean,
not.
were you scared when you got in the car accident? I don't know what your like fear level with death is because you're sick so often. Was like a
Yeah. No, I wasn't scared. I mean,
you just were like donuts.
Yeah, right.
Fucking whipping it in my Cookie Monster pants.
It was a lot of spinning around, so I was very confused what was going on.
Okay.
And then I got a little nap in, and then it all went dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where were you on your way to?
I was on my way to the stand-up comedy workshop that I teach in Ambler, Pennsylvania. So I was on that highway, and I was like maybe 5 minutes from my destination.
What did they do without you?
My co-teacher handled it.
Co-teacher?
He's the one that I called. He and I were on our way to get breakfast before the class. So I called him.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Did he feel so bad?
He did feel bad.
I wish I felt worse. Once I knew you were okay, I was like, oh my God.
I'm glad.
I felt like a parent, I really did, of the like, oh, I'm so glad they're alive so I can kill them.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I imagine that my mom is at all times up to here with me.
Yeah.
At all times is like, can you not for a minute, you know?
Yeah.
But I can't. I
and
have
not to victim blame your mom, but she definitely parented you softer and differently because you were sick,
and because I was the youngest,
and because you're the youngest. Poor Brad. I'm so team Brad every time we talk. I know, I'm sorry, but I am, and I'm team your mom because I can imagine because we're talking about it. Having to parent a kid where the worst thing is inevitable, like a young, quick death.
Yeah.
Quick in terms of your life, not in terms of that this illness has been quick.
Yeah.
So of course it's so much harder to punish a kid to be like, go to your room. And you're like, I'm already in the hospital.
Right. I live in this room. So
yeah.
I make this joke a lot. You've heard me say this, but like, there's a lot of truth to it, which is that people don't tend to reprimand me like growing up because there's that innate fear that like any conversation you have with me could be the last.
Not a great comparison, but it's the closest thing I have right now is like men that I've interacted with that are like professional athletes have never really heard no, like with anything, like that, like things are just handed to them. And so sometimes they'll say really bizarre things because no one's even just been like, that's weird. Because they've always been kind of like the standard. Like in high school, they were always cool. Like college, just presumed to be cool because of the athletic talents. But when you actually like hear some of them talk, you're like, this is actually a loser. Like this is actually a weirdo, but no one's ever been like, hey, this is weird.
Yeah.
So sometimes when you say stuff to me, I'm like, has no one ever told you that was weird to say out loud to other people?
I didn't get bullied enough.
No one did. I feel like a lot of people did it.
Sometimes you can tell when you talk to someone, or you can tell like your parents didn't make fun of you enough.
You sang 11 times for High School Musical,
but my
parents would not have even like, they would have taken the keys to my car and been like, no.
But my mom did. My mom is very like funny. Like she's definitely like where I get. She's not a comic, obviously, but she is very funny. And always in our household, it was like a lot of like making, like, you know, like playfully making fun of each other.
Right.
And so I did at least still get made fun of for stuff. Like it was not, if I told her I was doing something embarrassing, she'd be like, do your thing, but also like, I would keep that shit to yourself. Yeah.
Right. But I guess like kids wouldn't really do that to you in school.
No. The things that I did that
like,
I should have been.
You could have like Regina George come to school with like holes cut in your shirt, and people would have been like, cool.
Yeah.
Good for Karen.
Really good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah. The amount of things I did in school that I should have been relentlessly cyberbullied for.
Name 5.
They're all about Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
Yeah. The things that if someone had stopped me, I think I'd be in a better place in life.
Oh, I got bullied for a Zac Efron thing I think I talked about. And rightfully so. Still devastating at the time. I don't even say rightfully so. Like, there's definitely a way to nudge kids and be like, because you can be weird. Being weird is fine.
Agreed.
But flip side, I also went to school with like a girl who would like carry a taxidermy rat on her shoulder, and like that was just accepted.
Did she?
I don't know.
Was it glued on?
I have no answers. I have literally no answers.
You have to have some.
No, she was like, some. Like,
then don't bring it up, Jamie.
Okay.
Jeez.
Okay. Some kids would like hang in the cafeteria after school. Like not theater adjacent kids, like kids that were probably just dramatic but didn't want to be on stage. Yeah, she always had a taxidermy rat.
And did she have it glued on, or how did it stay?
I guess it was like attached to her bag or something. Okay, you have a Scream tattoo on your arm.
What just of saying,
it? Just saying. Maybe taxidermy rat girl now has just a rat tattoo.
We can hope, but I do feel like it would get worse, right? Or do you think it's like a high school phase?
I mean, I was definitely super weird.
Well, I was weird too, Jamie, but I didn't have a fucking taxidermized animal that I carried around with me.
Okay.
Enough's enough.
That's where we draw the line of weird.
A little.
Maybe her parents were getting divorced and she needed attention at school.
That's got to be it. That's so true also.
That's always what it was. People just weren't getting like listened to at home how to do something outrageous at school.
I do love
like my little sister's quiet because she's loved.
We were talking about practical bits earlier, like the things that you do, and everyone does them, even if you're not comics, but just day-to-day life. That's your response to something. Yeah. I did go through a phase where a practical bit would be like, if I said anything mean and someone like as a joke and someone would like be like, oh my God, I would always just be like, sorry, I'm a child of divorce. But my parents got divorced when I was an infant. So I've literally never known them to be married.
You're a child of multiple divorce though.
Yeah, for sure.
Getting divorced.
Yeah, but the other ones were not upsetting to me.
I had another fucked up roast. That was it was about your parents having multiple divorce.
Yeah.
And it was something about you being a first try, like you being a first pancake family. And then wanting to redo it, but not they had to redo it until they got waffles. Like it was something
first
like
pancake is so good. Always. Do you want to say, you said off mic one of your bits that I laughed at, your practical bit.
Oh yeah. Lately I've been, whenever like a friend is walking towards me, like if I'm already somewhere and they're meeting up and like coming in to say hey, I like to say like, oh sorry, I don't have any cash. Sorry, I don't have any money on me. Because it's just such a disarming bit.
That is a good bit.
So stupid, so funny to me.
It has to be in the...
Like if I'm waiting outside of a restaurant for a friend and they come up close to me loudly, I like, sorry, I don't have any money. There's nothing to say back to that.
And what makes the bit, I mean, what I'd said to you earlier is like, what makes the bit funny is when no one else likes it. Because I mean, I've talked about this before, but I like every once in a while doing a bit that does not land consistently, because we have to care so much in our professional life about being funny that we don't get to clock out. We don't get to make stupid jokes like everyone else does. But last year I went really hard on the one bit where I say,
my wife.
Yeah, my bitch wife. Where if someone says that they lost anything that's not your phone,
right,
your keys or your shoes or your wallet, I'll say, do you want me to call it? And I have gotten nothing but bad reviews. I've had so many people be like, I know you love this joke.
Do you know what's funny is
we don't.
When I've heard you say it before, I thought you meant call it like it was dead, like time of death.
That's yeah.
And now I'm understanding.
You want me to call it?
Call it.
Yeah. Another one I did all last year that I think I've told you about and it's so dumb. I didn't make it up. It's so dumb. Is when something breaks, but it has to be like you like broke a nail or like your car broke down.
Perhaps was stolen.
But it has to be broken.
Okay.
And I will say, do you want me to put it in rice? That one.
I like that.
That one gets. I haven't gotten a laugh yet. But I'm hopeful.
Are you waiting for one here?
No, I'm hopeful for 2024.
Neil, could you put a laugh sound in?
Yeah.
He's asleep. Neil, speaking of death stuff, do we have your emergency contact? Like, if something happened to you while we're recording, well, who do we call?
Do you know how fucking mad I would be if in the middle of our pod
something happened to him?
Neil fucking died.
It'd be so annoying. Because I'd have to export that myself.
I would also still stay for the rest of our time because we're paying for our studio time.
I guess, what would we do, actually?
Yeah,
we don't have protocols in place at the present moment, but I will put protocols in place for you.
And you're running a business?
We just go through everyone that signed the wall. We DM. He Neil's unconscious.
Jake Matera, it's Kier. Yeah, it's about Neil.
I love Jake.
Me too. Jake's going to be on our show coming up.
I know. He's the best.
Will this be released? This will not be released by the time that our show...
No, we're backlogged a bit.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Okay, it is great.
I'm loving listening back to them.
Who would be the funniest person on this wall to call if Neil died?
Naeem.
Yeah.
I think that a lot. I definitely have your mom's phone number.
You do. You asked me from
any of my friends.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have that on me. Like, I don't want to have that guilt, like, or that panic to not know what to do.
Yeah, you made me give you my mom's number very early.
Yeah.
Because you were like,
well, if we're out one-on-one,
yeah.
I feel that way about any friends.
And me of all people.
Well, if I have one friend I'm like driving to meet somewhere and I don't know who I would like contact, like if I don't know a sibling or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
It's probably crazy.
I don't have your mom's number. Actually, no, I think I do.
215.
I think you gave it to me. Go ahead, hang on. Hang on, Jamie. Go ahead.
215. I'm gonna text it to you after this. I don't want to edit my mom's 215
written in my phone. Okay. I was going to bleep it out, but okay. You might have given it to me already, but what would you do though if you called someone's emergency contact and told them?
The thing is, my mom won't pick up. That's what I'm saying. Oops,
that's what I was going to ask. If you called someone's emergency contact.
Well, we were just talking about this. So someone got in a car accident on my block and her watch hit. So it sent the emergency notification to her dad and boyfriend. And so I was like expressing to my mom like that she is my person for that. So I was like, if I fell down, like anything, but the only time my watch has like tracked a significant fall was me watching an Eagles game. I smacked my arm on something so hard that my watch was like signaling emergency contact, hard fall detected. And I was like, this is so embarrassing.
A hard fall from grace for the birds. Unless, were we doing well? Was it a celebration?
It could have gone either way.
Yeah.
No, it was something, a not good play happened. And
I get the heart rate notification a lot because it does I have it set to know that I have a heart condition.
Yeah.
And the things that I'll be in the middle of talking about or doing, and I'll get the high heart rate notification is so embarrassing. Yeah. It'll be like someone tells me something exciting or that makes me heated. And it could be so dumb.
Wait, did I tell you my Apple Watch joke?
No.
I'm trying to do an Apple Watch joke where I say I'm trying to get more into my fitness. So I put my Apple Watch on every morning. But I'm like trying to ask the crowd, I'm like, do you guys put your Apple Watch on before you masturbate? I was like, I know I'm not standing, but I'm trying to track the movement.
You're burning calories, yeah.
And then I was like, is that so stupid? But I was like, I feel like sometimes my watch tracks stuff so specifically, and then sometimes it doesn't. I'm also not left-handed. Maybe that's a problem.
Oh, I am left-handed, so it catches everything.
I don't know. Because sometimes, like, it'll tell me I'm being too loud. Do like the decibel notification.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, or like you're in a room.
I was yelling about it at a TV the other day.
When I go to tailgates, it'll give
like,
me that.
Too noisy.
Too much. Philadelphians are near.
Too loud.
Take a different route.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What other death stuff's going on for you?
I don't know. No one's died this week.
Springtime. Baby bird death time.
Jesus Christ.
What? Oh, that's the tough part.
No, I just didn't know that there's a time when all the baby birds die.
I mean, when do baby birds come out? Beep beep.
What kills them?
Everything.
Oh, they just can't make it.
Natural predators, human
It's a rough
predators.
world. It's not for
everything.
everyone.
No, it's definitely not.
It's
you're like, baby birds die when you literally don't function on your own.
Yeah, but I do think I would be evidence against natural selection as existing.
I know.
Because I'm still here against truly all odds.
You're here, but if you couldn't take your meds or have oxygen, you wouldn't be here.
I know.
So it's not natural selection. You're talking about medicine.
If someone kidnapped me,
yeah,
kept me in their basement,
how long would you last?
Not long.
How long?
Honestly.
Food, water, and bathroom, but no meds, anything.
I think it's the psychiatric meds that would make them regret it. If someone kidnapped me, I think
they would regret it as soon as they saw your tattoo. But after that, because they'd be like, she's going to be too into this. But after that.
I think that if somebody picked me up and kidnapped me, I would at least be like, can we stop at my house to get my pills? Because you're going to hate this.
If I got kidnapped. And I got food, water, and like chilling. Hope they have a nice library.
Yeah. I mean.
A notebook?
Yeah, I was going to say if I can write with something or whatever. But yeah, I think the psychiatric meds would take them out. They'd bring me back is what I worry. I think I'd get kidnapped by someone and they would be like, this is so much. Your schedule.
Thanks for playing.
Which I feel like is everyone's goal. Like if you are someone who's ever been kidnapped, you're like, I just want them to return me to my
you're
family.
You're supposed to act crazier. Like if someone's like coming to attack you, like you're supposed to act crazier.
It's like a bear. You're supposed to be like acting wild if you see a bear so that it gets
scared. Which type of bear?
Black bear.
Right.
If it's black, fight back. If it's brown, lay down. If it's white, good night. Because you're dead. You're fucking muerto if you see a polar bear. Which scares the fuck out of me.
Why?
I live nowhere near.
You did that? I meant to send you something about kimono dragons. Oh, the new show with Joel McHale, Animal Control. There's like a whole bit about kimono dragons, and I was just thinking about how you said you didn't know they existed.
Not until maybe 26 years old.
But you have a fear of rabies and a fear of polar bears.
Yeah.
I think you just need to watch more animal stuff.
I watch so much animal stuff. That's the problem.
But how do you not know what a kimono dragon is?
I don't know how that one slipped through.
And why are you scared of polar bears? There's like 4 left. And you're not going to see them.
That's why I don't recycle. I'm trying to kill all of them.
That's why you don't recycle?
Yeah. No, I just don't like. I do recycle. That was a joke. I don't think, though, that it's unwarranted because.
No, it's very unwarranted for you and the lifestyle you live to be scared of polar bears. It's very unwarranted. I'm going to defend polar bears here. And Komodo dragons. Fuck you.
All I know is that I have heard from multiple sources that if you see a polar bear, they've already seen you for miles and they are hunting you.
Okay. How often are you in the Alaskan wilderness that this has become an issue for you?
Not a lot.
I have a respect and fear of whales. I have a recurring dream of getting killed by whales. Because I always think with animals that are just so big that they're not trying to attack you but could kill you. Have you watched that guy? You ever seen that video of that guy where I'm not sure if with kite surfing, windsurfing, where he's like standing on the board and he has it, and the humpback whale just comes out of the water?
No, but I've seen videos like that. That scares the fuck out of me. Did it get eaten?
No, they just knocked him off and he fell. But that stuff about whales, like a humpback whale just hitting you, Like a humpback whale could just turn left and murder you.
I am that's true. Completely inadvertently. I am super scared of any like sea creature, any large sea creature.
Yeah.
The idea of innocent one, it like brushing past my legs.
Why was I just so mad about polar bears? What was the phrasing you used that made me mad?
I said, I'm afraid of them. I
I
said,
kept being afraid. I think it was the vigor in which your fear was.
oh,
Like,
just that I have
day to day.
That I have a constant fear of them.
When I was little, I watched a show. What is that movie? There was like a bad movie in the 90s about the volcano in Washington like erupting.
I don't know the movie, but
Dante's Peak or
Yeah.
what? Yep.
fucking nerd.
Pooser. Right ear for sure. I think that's it. But when I was younger, I just had a fear of like lava coming into New Jersey. Like I had no concept of like, oh, I was like, oh, if a volcano can do that there, it can happen anywhere. And in the same like probably month of my life, I watched a documentary on bridges collapsing. So I've always had a healthy respect / fear of bridges.
And this past week, right?
I call my little sister lives in Baltimore, and I call her every time I'm driving south to either Baltimore or DC. Call her every time because there's 2 bridges I have to go over that I'm scared, and I call her while I go over the bridges. This was a freak accident. It doesn't worry me the same way.
Yeah,
because it has nothing to do with the structure of the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
I was going back to. I don't know why I was frustrated with you saying you were scared of polar bears. I think it sounded like you were anti-polar bear.
I am not. I'm pro polar bear.
Right.
But I have a healthy fear of them.
Yes.
Even though I
love whales, but healthy fear, always have.
Even though I live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania,
right.
Where we have currently no whales, no polar bears.
No, R.I.P. Goldilocks.
And also,
38-year-old polar bear died at the zoo.
And Klondike died a couple years ago.
Mm.
I was there the day that I was at the zoo in like 2018, the day that Klondike died.
Mm-hmm.
And they had just a bunch of zoo employees standing around his exhibit to like give the news. But I know they did this on purpose. They were very specific. They said euthanized. And I was like, I know they're saying that so that kids won't know what it means and the parents can choose how they want to explain it to the kid.
Yeah, what do you want them to say?
Yeah, I mean,
that's
died,
what happened.
Passed away. And he was euthanized, but I was like, they definitely...
Well, those like, they do have medical... Wait, what did you want them to say?
Just that he died. I didn't want him to say anything. I just thought it was interesting that they opted for... Because how do you...
Yeah, euthanize is what happened, but it's also the best way to say it in front of a bunch of kids.
Exactly.
Because you don't know how people explain death to kids at all.
That's exactly my point.
I told you that. I think I maybe said that story about the girl I was nannying for, and I had to like quickly, unexpectedly go nanny for them, and their mom had to go to a funeral, and I didn't talk to the mom about what she told the kids.
Yeah.
And I had to take them to like a dance class, and one of the little girls' friends was like, "Why are you picking us up? Why isn't their mom here?" And I was like, oh, I paused for a second. I was like, oh, mom's busy. And the little girl went, yeah, her mom had to go because her friend went to heaven. And I was like, at least I didn't have to do it. But, I had no idea how they were expressing it or explaining it to the kids.
Yeah.
If they were at all. Not my place. So I think euthanize is the best way.
Agreed. Yeah, that's my point. I just thought I wouldn't have thought that, but I guess
But most of the animals, that's what happens because they're living longer than their natural life would when they're in captivity like that. So some of the medical stuff, they know I think we talked about this when I had to put my dog down last fall or last August, whatever. Of course, I did a bit with the vet because I was like,
yes,
just in a weird time. And I was like, oh, is this the worst part of your job? And she said, no, the worst part of my job is people who keep their dogs alive longer than they should.
Yeah.
So people have enough medicine. There's enough medical care that she's like basically Frankenweening dogs together. And she said it's horrific. And there's like nothing you can morally do to tell someone to put a dog down because legally they're allowed to accept the medical care if they want. And I was like, holy moly, that's way worse than putting dogs down. It's people just stretching these dogs out so they have like 20-year-old chihuahuas with no teeth.
And they're probably miserable. And
Chihuahua's a bad example.
Pain.
They do live long. But yeah, some people, you ever see like, oh my God, how many dog strollers have I seen lately? This was one of my things that I was going to say needs to be laid to rest. Like,
yeah.
People treating dogs like humans.
Yeah, agreed.
If you just like went to therapy and had better relationships with the people in your life, you wouldn't need to hold on to your dog stroller.
Yeah.
And I love my dog.
Mhm.
R.I.P. Paprika.
Mm.
She was a dog. Dog.
Yeah.
Would lick and eat shit.
Right.
Like, is a dog an
Right.
animal.
Is not a baby.
Is not a person.
No.
Oh my God, my dog this. I was like, no, your dog, you feed your dog.
Right.
Dogs
Is not
run away.
your best friend.
Like, if anything, we could tell that dogs are animals. Show me a missing, like, there's missing dog posters. Your dog left, opted to leave, because it's an animal.
It is bold to
You
assume.
have to have a fence. Like,
Yeah. It is bold to assume that when your dog runs away that it wants to be found.
it's rude.
It feels very non-consensual for the dog.
Why are you chasing it? Like, if it could come back, if he wanted to, he would.
Imagine you're a dog, you finally fucking make it out, and then some fucker like picks you up in their car and it's like, got him.
But you ever go to like a community that has like well kept up with like stray dogs?
Mhm.
They're not stray, but they're like community dogs.
Yeah.
It's like the healthiest
Street
dogs.
dogs.
I went to Belize last year. I saw the healthiest dogs I've ever seen in my GD life. No collars, slept outside,
Mhm.
got food from whatever restaurant, cleanest teeth I've ever seen, no
Mhm.
fleas, no BS. Here, everybody's dog is like anxiety and, you know, in a wheelchair. And I'm like, this is why are we literally piecing dogs together? Like, go to therapy. Go to therapy.
Yeah, it's not for them. It's
No,
for
I'm done.
it's for the owner.
If I see another gray-haired dog,
The little white ones that are far beyond when they should be living.
I mean,
It's hard to watch.
I know. And for the vet to say that at a time that she was thanking us, she was like, it is devastating to have to keep dogs alive. For
Yeah.
people. She was like, we appreciate people like you who knew your dog was in pain and like, this was it. She's like, it's not an easy decision to make, but she's like, you know what sucks is like 2 years from now, someone would have kept this dog alive and
Yeah.
we would have been dragging it in here.
And the dogs can't talk, but if they could, they'd probably be like, fucking end it.
Oh my God.
Put a bullet in
Shoot
me.
me out back, old Yellowstone.
Shoot.
Did you guys not read the book?
The cautionary tale.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. And then I think about that like with humans because medicine's getting so good,
Mm-hmm.
as you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I
And
know.
then you're like, at what point do I not want to spend 4 hours a day taking meds, getting
Mhm.
checked out, doing this, doing that? Like, yeah, the quality of life conversations.
At what
Definitely
point-
interesting in this country.
At what point in my life will it be more ethical for you to take me out back and shoot me?
How do you want to go?
Take me out back and shoot me.
Right? Point blank range?
Point blank, shoot to kill. Yeah.
Really?
Right in the head.
Sick.
Yeah, exactly. It's a cool death.
Yeah.
It's quick.
Yeah.
It's cheap.
Yeah.
If you can try to just find someone who
Yeah,
already
but,
has
like,
a gun.
cleanup's annoying.
Do the.
Find someone that has a gun.
Do you think we could find
Craigslist.
anyone?
Excuse me. I need a man with a gun.
Here's my home address.
BYO tarp. Probably a good-
Female seeking male to shoot her best friend
No, she wants it to happen.
consensually.
Will be recorded for content.
Oh
Probably a
boy.
good note to end on.
All right, yeah. Are we done? We got it. Jamie's gonna go take me out back,
Pop, pop.
and what happens happens.
Check the Craigslist ads.
I was gonna say, yeah, yes. You have to pay for our Patreon to get the full footage of what happens. Okay.
Bye. If we're here next week, I'll see ya.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see you. I'm Kirsten,
I'm Jamie.
and bye.
Bye.
That's good.
Be ya.
Damn, was that you?